Okay, here it is. I got this from a friend of mine who had it out in his scrap heap. It's just a back blade. It's a Rhino. I haven't done any research into this at all. As you can see, it's kind of bent up. This should be straight. This plate here should be straight. The blade itself is mostly straight. I mean, I'm probably going to abuse it a little more, but here's an issue. So I have to replace these pins. You can see they're kind of bent. I need to straighten this and just replace these pins altogether. I can't tighten them. This one over here is bent. You can see that. It's not just loose, it's bent and loose. So, and the reason why, as you can see how it's sitting like this, the people I got it from, my friend, pushed on it in reverse. That's how they used it. But it's not a good idea to be pushing with a 3-point. You know, you can mess other things up. I mean, look at all the force that it took to bend the square tubing. So I got some new steel here in the bucket for it. I'm going to replace that entire shaft. Here's a thicker, beefier plate for the holes to go into, and some tubing. I'm going to drill through here for the pins and the pivot bolt. So I got everything loaded up in the tractor, and my welding helmet and everything. And I'm going to head up to my neighbor's, who's got a big shop where I usually work on this kind of big stuff until I get my shop built. So yeah, I'm going to take things like cut this off. This plate does nothing here. Same with this one here and the one on the other side. And why? This was not this has been added on later. So it just needs some TLC, and it'll be a good little back blade for me. As soon as I can turn it around too, to, you know, pull it instead of push on it. So, all right. All right, so I'm out here in the shop, up in my neighbor's place. If you could hear it, I'm a little sick. Starting to feel better, but trying to work on this back blade, and ran into a little bit of an issue. Not horrible, but I had to cut that big nut off. It wouldn't come off. It was really rust welded on. So today I'm not gonna get it done today because I do need my neighbor's help, and he is not here right now. So, and he doesn't like to be on film, so we'll probably skip that part and I'll just go to the finished product. But today I got some torching to do, and some grinding and that sort of stuff. So let me show you what I got so far. So here is the blade without the hitch on it. And you can see there's the cut mark in these threads where I had to cut that nut off. So I need to clean that up. I got a new nut for it. This plate I'm going to take off completely. It's got some welding and stuff down there. So what I'll probably end up doing is just cutting it like right along here and just taking this off. And the new plate will sit on top of whatever I leave here. So that's that. And then over here, you can see this is the hitch itself. You can see I went at it with the cutoff wheel, trying to cut this all off. The metal that I got is this stuff right here. It's the exact same stuff as this. And so to do this right, to make it strong, initially I wanted to cut this off like around here, and then take this new stuff and slide it all the way up as far as I could and weld it up here someplace, so it'd be like you know, double thick and strong. But making a cut back here where it's damaged and then trying to butt the new stuff up, that's not going to be very strong. So what I'm going to do, what I've decided to do, is just replace this entire square tubing. So to do that, I got to cut these welds, and that's what I was trying to do with the cutoff wheel. But as you can see in this corner, that's all got to be torched. I can't get in there with the grinder, so I ground that off, cut that off. This hole, there it's at. So it looks like at one point there was a grease fitting there, and that's why this hole is on the end here. I'm gonna redo this. I'm gonna make this look exactly like that, but I'm gonna put the grease fitting back in it. The reason why is because this really should be greased, and I don't know if that's coming out in the video or not, but that is no longer really round, so it's just gonna get worse and worse, and that should be greased all the time. You know me, I'm big on grease. So yeah, all this whole thing right here is gonna go away. I'm gonna have to remake this. I got all these pipes and everything that to go in here, and these tubes that got to be cut and welded in. But that's where I need my neighbor's help. This is his shop, it's his equipment, and he's got some very expensive drills and that sort of stuff here. So I'm gonna let him cut these holes in this new stuff so I don't, you know, inadvertently damage his nice equipment. But I can certainly run a torch and grinder and stuff like that and do all that, and I'll be the one that welds all this up. So he's an okay welder. I'm much better. He has me come up and do all of his important welds. So the other thing I need to do is cut these off. They're so damaged and bent up that they need to be removed. I can't get that off of there at all. And then these right here are actually a little tweaked, so I need to heat them up, especially on the other side over there. I need to heat that up and straighten that out. So other than that, that's all I really got. I'm gonna get to working on this, and I'll come back here in a little bit with an update. Okay, so I had to cut it in, that's the part that was on the hitch. Had to cut it off to try and get this part. I'm not going to touch it, it's screaming hot still. To get this part out of there, I'll flip that square tubing over here off in a second. But you can see here, that's just a pile of slag. I had a hell of a time torching that off of there. I hate cutting welds with a torch, but especially when there's all those sides, it was welded all the way around. And I'm trying my best to save this because I'm going to grind all this off, cut it all off, and weld back to it. So I was trying my very best not to damage it. So I was trying to cut more of the square metal out. Obviously, you can see here. Trying to cut more of that square metal out and leave some on there that I can just grind off or torch off with a little bit, you know, I can see and get in there a little bit better. So that's still really hot. I'm not gonna be able to flip it over for you. Let me grab a glove really quick. I can flip it over. Touch it by the right end. You can see there, I had to really torch that out, and it was kind of a pain. And so then I just, after I got it off, I just finished it up right there with the torch. I'll grind that off, make it look pretty. So I got the pins out as well. I need to heat those little tabs up and straighten them up just a little bit. You can see that one there is more bent up than the other. I'll just get it a little red and hit it with a hammer. And then I'm going to take this plate off, and haven't made up my mind how I'm going to do that yet. Like I said, I'm probably just gonna cut it like I mentioned before, just really close on the plate itself right here, and just the top of this plate is going to be left on here. That's going to add a 1/4 inch to my dimensions, but oh well. I don't like it, but I'm going to make a hell of a mess trying to get that plate off there, cut those welds off, and try and weld back to it. It's going to be a pain in the ass. So, alright, well, I got to get back to it. Okay, I'm all done for the day. Made a little boo-boo on the concrete. Looks like I got a little too warm. Hopefully my neighbor's not too pissed off at me for that. There it is. All nice and ground and pretty. Here's the top part. I'm gonna have to shim this. I did a little test fit. There's the new tube right there. And it's like a 1/2 inch away. So I'll probably have to, get a couple pieces of flat stock welded onto there to weld to the tube. Sorry about my voice, man. This illness is kicking my butt. So I got that cut off as well. It doesn't have to look pretty because that's going to get covered up by that plate. So this is that nut I was talking about that I got a replacement, and it won't go on there. And the reason why it won't go on there, a minute ago it went on there a little bit, there it goes, is because these threads on here are just so buggered. So I need to take a file to them and fix these threads. Sorry about the horrible camera work. Fix these threads, but I can't find for the life of me a file in this machinist shop. That's what my neighbor is. He's a machinist, and he's got every kind of tool you can shake a stick at, but working in somebody else's shop without them here, even though I have full run of the shop and he has full confidence in me and all that, I don't go digging and snooping unless it's obvious where things are at. So I'm gonna have to wait till he comes back to find a file to fix those threads, which I knew I was gonna have to do anyway, but I was hoping to get it done today. So for you it'll be just a few more seconds, and for me it's going to be a few more days before my neighbor gets back. Like I say, he's gonna cut the holes in this plate and in that square tubing, and I'm gonna weld in the tubes. You can see there's the pin with pinhole right there. The other round stock for the main kingpin is what I'm calling it, is out in the truck still. So I did heat up and straighten that eyelet over there. That's pretty simple. Just got it hot and beat the hell out of it. I was gonna cut these tabs off. I don't know if I will or not, just because why? They're out of the way. They're not really hurting anything, and just makes it more work. But maybe I don't know. We'll see if I have more time and get the gumption to do it. So, but that turned out pretty well. I got a little deep in some spots with the torch, like right in that area. Ooh, that's still kind of warm. Right here, there's another little one. But all in all, it turned out pretty good. I was very careful with the torch, and yeah, what you saw in the last video was still that plate from that bottom section of that square tubing that was still welded on there. I just missed just a little piece that I couldn't see through all the slag and everything. So once I found it, I popped it off, and it was pretty much just grind down the welds from that point. So, alrighty, well, we'll see you in a bit. All right, I just got the back blade done, put together. Let's flip around now and see it. All right, there it is, all done. It's taken me all day today, about an hour or so. And the last time you saw, I think, working on that, and it's all done. So starting back here, I did replace this plate. And it's all welded up underneath there. That other plate, I just completely took it off. I only put one hole in the back. You can see these are my marks. You can barely see them. Ended up not doing that. They were the wrong size. We upped the size of the pin to 1 inch from 7/8, just to be a little bit extra robust because, well, we can. Put a grease fitting in there. I'm not going to close this back plate up like I was thinking, mainly because the flat stock that I have is 3 inch, not 4 inch. Leave a huge gap. So I just screw it. It's not that big of a deal. This nut is not a mechanical fit lock nut. It's just a regular old nut. So I did Loctite it on there. You can see I do have 2 washers on there. The top one is the original. And you can see that it's really thick compared to the one I bought. The reason I stacked them up like that is because I did leave a little too much of a gap on this pipe here that sticks up. You can kind of see that. So it sits on there. It's kind of squished on there now. The bottom of this threaded part of that shaft, there's no threads, so I couldn't crank it down all the way and squish it, so I had to stack up those washers like that. So on the front, now the reason I got multiple angles here on the front, is what I was going to say. The reason I only did one in the back is because if I do, for some reason, need to turn this blade around and push and reverse on a 3-point, I'm only going to be going in one, I'm not going to have it angled. It's going to be going in one direction. Pushing rearward on these 3 points like this is asking to get in trouble. Bend things, break things, that sort of thing. And then putting it at an angle and pushing on it, yeah, that's why this was all screwed up to begin with. So this is a custom made pin that I made. Custom. It's actually a piece of 1 inch round stock that you can see it's kind of got a little bit of taper to it. I did that on the belt grinder. And you saw how easy that was. It just goes right in there. And I checked all the holes. They're all good. It's a nice, good, tight fit on all of them. So if there is any wobble, it's not going to be nearly as bad as putting a smaller pin in there. That just waller those holes out even more. So a good tight fit is what you want, and that's what we got. So coming up to the hitch, that's all nice and welded on there. Really, really thick. And then I got new mounting hardware for the 3-point, and that's bolted on. I was thinking about actually welding them on, but if I ever bend one or something like that, it'd be easy to just replace. I did think I was going to need to shim this, and when I actually put it up on there and tack welded in place, it fit just fine. So no shim necessary. So the next step going to be tomorrow, because it's really late right now. It's probably 6-7 o'clock at night, and I've been here since about 6-7 o'clock this morning. I took a couple of breaks, went down to the house and got some food, but I've been here a while, so I need to get home, take a shower, and I'll come back up tomorrow. My neighbor's actually gone fishing, and so I'm gonna get everything cleaned up and hooked up to the tractor and take it home and start using it on the driveway. So stay tuned for those videos. Now I got a new implement, I'm gonna be using it. So alrighty, we'll see you in a little bit. There it is, all hooked up at home. Once the ground firms up a little bit, you can see it's really muddy. I'll be able to actually use it, reprofile the driveway and any other tasks that is handy. So I need to clarify something that I said yesterday about pushing on a 3-point, and the reason why I did just one hole like that. You can push in reverse with a 3-point, but you run the risk of really damaging things, bending things, and I have seen 3-point links completely bent up. I've seen pins for the 3-point links completely sheared off. Those adjuster links right here, I've seen those just all sorts of boogered. All because someone decided to flip the blade around, put it in the ground, and push. Now it's going to be fine on certain things like, you know, pushing snow or something like that, so long as it's not too deep and you don't catch anything like rocks or stumps or anything. If you're out plowing, pushing dirt, you know, in reverse, that's not good. So this thing's only going to be pulled. Tractors are meant for pulling, not necessarily pushing, especially on these 3-points. And so it's not all adjusted right now. It's kind of wonky sitting on there. Yeah, but I just hooked it up really fast to get it home. I still need to grease this, and I'm going to do that here hopefully today when I make the next tools and tips video. So all in all, what I have into this is about $80 in materials, and I'm maybe closer to $100 after the nut and the grease fitting and everything. So about $100 and about a day and a half of actual work, and I now have a really good heavy duty back blade that's adjustable and extremely strong. So, and it's wide enough, as you can see. It's a 6 foot, so it fits behind my tractor nicely, and I hope to get a lot of use out of it. Thanks for watching.